The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. The Pharisees went off and plotted how they might entrap Jesus in speech. They sent their disciples to him with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know that you are a truthful man, and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. You are not concerned with anyone's opinion, for you do not regard a person's status. Tell us then, what is your opinion? Is it lawful to pay the census tax to Caesar or not?" Knowing their malice, Jesus said, "Why are you testing me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin that you use to pay the census tax." Then they handed him the Roman coin. He said to them, "Whose image is this, and whose inscription?" They replied, "Caesar's." At that he said to them, "Then repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Every hand is unique. The crevices and wrinkles on the palm of your hand are completely unique to you, kind of like your fingerprints. There's no two hands alike. There are some who make the claim that by looking at the wrinkles, they could foretell your future. I don't think that's true. But you know what I do think is true? Is if you look at your hand closely, while you probably can't tell your future, I am sure you can tell a whole lot about your past and especially your present. Take a look. Go ahead. Look at your hand. What do you see? Wrinkles, yeah. Do you see any calluses? So, think of Adam. You got calluses on your left hand? Adam has calluses on the tips of his fingers because for countless hours he's been practicing the guitar. Maybe other people have calluses along the top of their hands from many hours holding tightly to the knurling of a barbell in the gym or some racket or club in athletic endeavors. Calluses will develop over time when you do something vigorous or hard. Or maybe you still have some smudges from pencil marks or ink stains from long hours of study. I know a few people use pencils and pens anymore. It's all computers, but just humor me. But we still get paper cuts. Or it could be your hands are dried and cracked from hours of labor. I don't think our hands can tell us our future. But what I do think is that the more we hold on to something, it changes our hands and tells us about our present. And I do know that what we hold on to, that will change our life. In the gospel today, the Pharisees, with great malice and hypocrisy, are trying to trap Jesus. They know that there is nothing more controversial, more divisive, more culturally explosive than the issue of paying the tax to Caesar. And so they want to trap Jesus. And whatever Jesus says will be a disaster. Whatever he says will cause him to lose credibility or to lose followers. Because there were some in the first century world of Israel who hated the Romans, and they resented deeply the requirement to pay taxes to Caesar. Why, they said, would they fund the emperor who was oppressing and persecuting them? They should not pay the taxes, they said. And then there were still others who were cooperating with the Romans, and so when you paid your taxes, that enriched them and enabled them to continue to grow in their power. Many of those were the tax collectors. That's why they were so hated. So there's this great divisive issue. Do we pay the taxes or not? Jesus is in some serious trouble. So he says to them, show me the coin. Now, recall where this is happening. This isn't in a synagogue somewhere. This isn't in a marketplace. This confrontation is taking place in the temple courtyard. This is on holy ground. The whole people of the community are gathered. A few days before Passover, the people have begun to gather, and Jesus is teaching and preaching and working miracles publicly, and they're confronting him, hoping to discredit him, and he turns the situation around on them and says, show me the coin. The moment he says that, the Pharisees have lost. Their hypocrisy is revealed. Do you see it? Can you hear the clinking of the coins as they reach into their money purse to produce the denarius that is used to pay the Roman tax? Notice, Jesus does not have one of those coins on him. The Pharisees do. Those coins were considered to be the most blasphemous images that you could have. Because on the coin was a picture of Tiberius Caesar. And the inscription around the edges of the coin claimed that Tiberius Caesar was a god. There would have been nothing more blasphemous, more irreverent, more unacceptable than that coin, and the Pharisees were holding on to it in the temple. Their hypocrisy was laid bare. They produce the coin, they show it to him, and they show their willingness to hold on to blasphemy. Whose inscription, he says? Caesar. Whose image? Caesar. Then give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. But make sure you give to God what belongs to God. Let go. Jesus is saying, let go. Don't hold on to the coins, the wealth, the power, the influence, the agenda of Caesar and everything that comes with it. Let go of that and hold on to God. Make sure that you hold on to the agenda, the priorities, and the kingdom of God. Let go of these worthless coins. They're Caesar's anyway. Don't hold on to it. Think about what we heard in our first reading. King Cyrus, this incredible king, God says, this is Isaiah, God says, I have taken Cyrus by the hand. And Cyrus never let go. He held on to God. When God reached out to him, he held on to God. And God even strengthened his arm to do his will, to guide him in the way of righteousness, in the way of justice, and in the way of peace. Cyrus held on to God, and he did God's will. Hold on to God, because I'm telling you that what you hold on to changes your hand, and what you hold on to changes your life. God is reaching out to you in the same way he reached out to Cyrus. Jesus is calling you to let go of those things that belong to Caesar and to hold on to him and his kingdom alone. What you hold on to changes your hand, and what you hold on to changes your life.